Last year I got to job shadow Sophia Roach down at her office in downtown, and it was one of the best experiences because I got to go around the office and look at her and go inside the courtroom, and I got to talk to a lot of people that work with her, and I got the live experience of how it feels like to become a lawyer, and that really hit home with me because I've always grown up, I've always wanted to become a lawyer.
My job shadow experience was incredibly entertaining and rewarding. I got to meet with two incredible students from the program, Yasu and Muhammad, and they both came at once, and that was actually kind of fun to have both of them together and see their different perspectives and what they were interested in. And it was really just a fun day of showing them what I do, and both in kind of the professional and even some aspects of the social life of being at work in an 8-to-5 job. Sometimes more. So I really just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a valuable experience for me, and I hope it was for them.
I got to interact with Sophia Roach, me and Muhammad. That was a fun experience because we got to hear her story and how she grew up in City Heights and the highs and lows and the process she had to go into going into college, and then later on her decision to go into law school.
I think one of the most memorable parts for me, aside from lunch, which we had a really good time at, was taking them into the courtroom. And we actually, they ended up seeing me conduct a court proceeding, and the judge spent some time with them afterwards. And just watching them in that environment and talking with the judge about their future ambitions and just seeing their enthusiasm was probably the most memorable part for me.
The experiences influenced me to narrow down my paths because growing up I've always wanted to go to other occupations like becoming an engineer or a broadcaster or other things, and the experience has definitely been able to narrow down my paths, and that's helped out because the field pretty much gives you that like adrenaline where you know like there's always that next thing where you have to follow up to, whether it be like a case that you have to solve it, there's always like people behind you, and you always get that feel where like you're in the edge of your seat. That's definitely given me a big boost, or the need to become a lawyer.
You know, for those of us who have had the ability to get through our undergraduate years, go into professions that we love, I think it's extremely important that we share our love for our job with young people in the community. Depending on a person's own personal background, they may never have met a prosecutor. I know I certainly didn't as a younger child, didn't even really know how to get into law school or any of those things. And by being a host or a mentor or a job shadow volunteer, I guess you would say, you can really provide some good insight on what type of a path a young person might need to take in order to enter into your profession. And perhaps you'll encourage somebody who didn't even realize that they wanted to enter your profession.
It's important for students to sign up for job shadowing because it gives people that thing that they need for them to narrow their search down, because as a child you always have dreams and aspirations of becoming things, and there's always plenty of doors open for you, and definitely job shadowing gives you that it narrows down your paths, so you get a small ballpark pretty much so you can play in, and that's helped out a lot because for me I've always wanted to be multiple things, and because of job shadowing I've been able to narrow my searches, and now I have a couple paths, and now because of that I've been able to narrow my path and go into a single one.
By being able to take a day out with some really just fresh, enthusiastic, wonderful kids and see them as they are starting to pursue their ideas about future careers and things like that, was really just kind of a refreshing day for me. And it reignited my own passion for my job in trying to explain to them what I did and why I believed it helped the community.
So after this job shadow experience, I've been able to look into things that I can prepare myself so I can get that big step already done before I get into law school.
I would just add that the Reality Changers program really is exceptional. In volunteering for it, I did some research. I came in and spoke to a group of the kids and got to see them kind of in their classroom environment, so to speak, at Reality Changers, and I was really impressed. It's very well organized, and you're very dedicated to your students and meeting not only their educational needs but also some social needs that really will assist them in moving on to the next stages, applying for colleges and things of that nature.